All right, welcome to another episode of Lifestyles. Got a great show lined up for you. First and foremost, we're visiting with the Brendan Huffman, chairman of the board with Social Syndicate. We're going to learn all the cool things happening in San Diego's social scene. Also, we're going to visit La Jolla with Amber Anderson. She's controlling multi-million-dollar properties. We're going to do some fun stuff out there. Our co-host Jen Morris is going to be putting on some bling. And then last but not least, you've heard of the craft brew scene in San Diego, but how about the craft coffee scene? We're going to go out with City Councilman Mark Kersey out there, and we're going to explore what's happening out there, all on Lifestyles, coming at you right now. All right, so here we are with Brendan Huffman. He is the chairman of the board with Social Syndicate, and he's one of the most sociable guys in San Diego. Here we are at Wonderland having a beer. What kind of beer are we having?
Cheers. This one's the Vacation IPA by our brewery, a resident brewing company. I would say is our flagship beer.
The Vacation IPA.
Yeah, coconut IPA.
That's
and
good.
Our brewmaster won awards for this one, and we're excited now. It's in all of our venues, and it's actually at a limited release, so it's a tough one to get. But now we have it kind of spread around town a little bit.
Well, it's a great beer, and it speaks to the craft brew scene that we've seen in San Diego, which I know has probably had an impact on a lot of what you guys do. Talk about Social Syndicate so people understand what it is you're doing throughout San Diego.
Syndicate's basically kind of a jack of all trades umbrella, and it's our restaurant group, but it's also we got creative design in there, you got photography, you got entertainment booking, you got social media presence, you got anything that we do comes from that source. There's a board of directors, so myself, Mina, Hoffman, Jimmy, and Mark basically make these decisions based on what's next. What's new and exciting, what are we going to add to our circle, the best decisions are the ones we avoid, you know what I mean? And for maybe there's 30 deals that come to us on certain projects, and we take one. There's one that will stick out.
It's awesome you guys do an analysis of the different areas that you go into. I don't think, from what I've seen, one better illustrates it than where we're sitting today, which is the Wonderland, which soon will be filled with customers everywhere. And every time I've been down here into Ocean Beach, it seems like you guys have just knocked it out of the park. I think you had a little adversity into coming down here and doing this.
So we did, yeah. There definitely was a very, I would say, conservative approach to coming in here. You can't come into Ocean Beach and wave a corporate flag, and that's not something we ever do. We're always a grassroots approach to things. Obviously, we have our systems in place. We have our processes. Everything we do is basically our foundation, but then we want to do things our way when it comes to these venues. So Ocean Beach was no different. They were a little nervous that we weren't going to be tying this into OB. But everything has been Ocean Beach with Wonderland. It's been Ocean Beach Hires. It's been all the philanthropy work we do in town is all generated around this community.
Well, isn't Wonderland a historic story of Ocean Beach as a whole? Wasn't there like a park? I don't know the story.
Yeah, so 100 years ago, literally right below where we're sitting now, and it ran all the way down towards the pier, they built Wonderland Park, which was this huge amusement park. And of course, back in the day, they didn't have the research behind certain things. It was too close to the fault line.
The safety measures?
Yeah, the safety measures. So they spent a lot of money at the time, if you see pictures, and it was sinking. It was cracking at the surface. The foundation wasn't stable. So
roller coaster was a little sketchy.
Yeah. Jumping on the blue streaker, it definitely was like Russian roulette, I suppose. But awesome history behind Wonderland Park, and we kind of do a split thing here where it's a little nautical theme, but we tie into some OB history and tell a little story.
Well, it's an amazing spot as we sit here. You got the ocean breeze coming in. What are some of the other spots you guys have designed and created with Social Syndicate besides Wonderland?
So the first one, basically my first baby, I call them. But we put together Bootlegger in East Village, and that was in 2011. And it was a little bit of a prohibition kind of thing, obviously. There was some history there. We wanted to do something that that had, it was approachable, but it had a cool brand behind it. It had the bootlegger truck. It had, I don't know if you've been down there, but every time the fire truck from engine number 4 goes
Tell
by.
us the story of the Fireball.
So one of our artists was doing a mural, and I was in there late night one night with him, 3 in the morning, and we're standing outside because we want to get a breath of fresh air, and the trucks keep flying by, and one after another. So it must have been a busy night, obviously. But it dawned on him. He looked at me and said, "You have to do some sort of special that's generated around these trucks because it's crazy." So then we came up with the Fireball yell, where the whole staff jumps on board. So you wanted to get the crowd that's in the building and the staff and the bell and the light above the bar screaming and yelling Fireball when the trucks go by. I think what it does, everything involved in the brand is it helps it bring it down a notch. It makes it more casual and more approachable. You know what I mean? We always want that Cheers vibe where you walk in and you know the person that's serving you at the bar, and that you just have that connection. You know what I mean? And that's what East Village was eating up. That was what they needed. They needed that cool neighborhood bar that just had a nice pulse to it.
Now it's become this iconic spot in downtown, and there were several failures prior to Bootlegger, which has been a huge success for you guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was almost a cursed corner down there.
It made us a little nervous, to be honest, going into that deal. But the team you put in there, because it's a destination spot. If you're down in East Village, there's not foot traffic everywhere. It's certainly. This one was a unique project where we had to make sure that the place had a buzz around it. It had to have the best staff in town. It had to have a good value when it comes to the menu and stuff. And that mix, and I mean, there's people involved in everything we do right now that, and I guess I'll touch on this. What we do at Syndicate and it encompasses around all of our restaurants is something a little bit different. We try to think a little bit outside of the ordinary. There's people within our that express our brand that are a little bit different. You know what I mean? In a good way. Like you walk in. There's a bartender named Sarah, for example, down at Bootlegger. On a busy night, she's high-fiving everyone in the building. I swear she has to ice her arm down after a busy night down there. But it makes people's day, you know what I mean? Yeah. Wonderland's no different. There's a guy named Chris that bartends here. Every time I walk into this place, he makes my day. You know what I mean? There's something different about it. And we want to make sure that we're doing that everywhere. Rabbit Hole, no different. There's a guy named Michael that knows everything about craft beer, and he's got all these regulars, and people chat about their experiences at Rabbit Hole because of this guy, and you can pinpoint people, at every one of our venues that affect people positively. But that's kind of like the heartbeat of what we do. We want to have swagger. You know what I mean? Yeah. You want to have, when you walk in the building, that you want to have that high five. You want to have the nice, warm welcome.
What's awesome about it in today's world, your story is so important, and you guys have created stories within all these different restaurants and bars that you've opened up. But now you have the ability for the consumer to communicate with one another online and through social media, so that story spreads in a way that's crazier than ever in the past. What do you got on the horizon?
So, project-wise, we have a collaboration project that we're doing up in Pacific Highlands Ranch. It's actually a community within Carmel Valley, Del Mar area, called Woku Noodles and Pours. It's a really edgy brand. I really like it. It's kind of like a samurai pirate noodle type of thing with teppanyaki and craft beer. It's a little all over the place, but it's gonna be a really cool concept for that community.
Come on, man, noodles aren't that exciting.
I know, but we have
so
to.
You gotta do something.
We're gonna kick it up a notch there. I know that there's gonna be a really interesting approach to that particular brand. Downstairs from Wonderland, we were able to. It took us about a year. We were talking to the friendly people over at Shades Oceanfront Bistro. These guys are. I mean, it's a family-run business, and hats off to them. They've done it so right. We're taking over that space. We just started demo, and we're going to do a brunch 7 days a week type of theme downstairs. It's called Obi Surf Lodge. Swell times. And we're excited about this thing. It's something that we think will be ready for the new year.
Well, you guys, you're good people. You're putting together cool things for San Diego. The social scene is awesome. A lot of people are going to enjoy it, but you don't know who's behind it. Brendan, Social Syndicate are big players in the space. Cheers to your success and all you're doing for San Diego. Let's go ahead and take it back to the show. Many San Diegans have heard about the craft brew scene. Have you heard about the craft coffee scene? We are here at Mostra Coffee with the owners. We have Jillian and RJ. Thank you for having us out here. We're going to be sitting down with Mark Kersey, City Councilman here in District 5. But what a fascinating story you guys have. Share with us what's going on with craft coffee in San Diego.
Well, like you said, craft beer San Diego is number 2 in the nation. As far as coffee goes, we're number 6.
Really?
So we are
Not bad.
growing. Yeah, we are growing. And we're up there with New York and San Francisco, LA, Chicago. So it's growing pretty rapidly. All of my partners and I, there's 5 of us. It's myself, Beverly, RJ, Mike, and Sam. And we all pretty much grew up in this neighborhood. 4 out of the 5 partners went to Rancho Mirado High School. And everyone left, had careers, went to college, and then decided, okay, we want to start families. Let's head back to San Diego. And we headed right back to the direct community that we grew up in to open up this company.
That's such a fascinating story. I mean, the craft coffee scene is something that we're obviously learning about. Number 6, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the way that you guys have been able to build a business, a successful business with high school friends, did I hear that right? High school friends. That's not an easy thing to do.
I know.
So tell us about Mostra.
So Mostra is a Italian word for show or performance, and 3 of my partners are actually artists. Jillian here, she's been in Hollywood, she's been a hostess, she's been in acting. Beverly, she's an opera singer. She actually sang professionally in the city of Boston and also in Colorado. And Mike, our head roaster, he's a fine dining chef by trade. He's worked with some Michelin-rated restaurants in Chicago and New York, and decided to bring his skill sets down to San Diego.
Can I interject here?
Yeah.
You realize none of those skill sets have anything to do with coffee?
Right. But I will say, though that when you actually utilize that experience that we've had there in our different industries, it actually applies perfectly to owning a business.
So cool.
I mean, because when you are an actor or you're an opera singer or a fine dining chef, I mean, it's like details, it's about marketing yourself, it's about connecting with people on stage, through the camera, through your food. So it actually does apply quite a bit.
Interesting.
But we named our company Mostra because, like he said, it means show, performance, or exhibition. So we were actually able to make the connection with coffee. People drink coffee to perform well in life, to work out, to be a parent, to get up for work in the morning,
Sane.
Yeah, be
Don't
sane.
even talk to me till I've had my coffee.
Exactly.
Yep.
See, so we were able. So Mostra performance actually applies to.
Absolutely love it. Well, you guys are winning awards, you're in magazines. If you walk around here, I mean, it's such a beautiful space, great artwork. And we're going to go sit down now with Mark Kersey and learn about the neighborhood, but thank you for having us out.
Absolutely. Thank
All right,
you.
let's go sit down with Mark. So here we are at Mostra with Mark Kersey, District 5, City Council member. Good win in June for you. Thanks for inviting us here. This is a great spot. Why here?
You know, I'm a really big fan of our craft brewing scene, but I'm also a really big fan of our craft coffee scene.
Yep.
And I know you are. And you know, obviously everybody's pretty familiar with San Diego's craft brewing scene, but not as many people are aware that we've really become a player on the national stage when it comes to craft coffee roasters.
Wow.
And I think the industry is really where our craft brewers were maybe 15 years ago, right? We've got a good emerging scene that I think is poised to explode. And these guys here at Mostra are doing some fantastic coffee. They're here in my district, so I love supporting them. And so I thought this would be a great spot.
Well, it's fascinating, and I promise our viewer that the coffee is amazing. I'm having a coconut coffee. Sounds a little odd, but it's incredible.
And you got the cold brew.
And the cold brew as well. So you won in June, District 5. First of all, just to remind everyone, what area are we covering here with District 5?
So District 5 is the northeastern corner of the city, Rancho Bernardo, Carmel Mountain Ranch, where we are right now, down to Scripps Ranch, and then over to Santa Luz and Del Sur, and the San Pasqual Valley as well.
Biggest initiatives for you?
You know, the biggest thing for me continues to be the city's infrastructure. I had a big infrastructure measure on the June ballot that got passed by 65% of the voters.
Would that be considered good?
I would say, yeah, I'd say that's a healthy mandate. We're pretty happy about that. I mean, I think when you go around and talk to people, there's a lot of concern about the condition of our streets and roads and our sidewalks and our water mains, stuff that's not particularly glamorous, but you really notice it when it starts to break. And that's where we are. So I was very happy to see that measure get passed. It's a $4 billion measure over the next 25 years. And I think it's reflected a broad recognition. This is a problem people want us to solve.
So what does that mean? We're going to just see better roads, highways, bridges?
Absolutely. I mean, you're already seeing right now a lot of progress in the city. The city's budget in the current fiscal year has the largest investment in streets and roads that we've ever done. So that's really, really important to people. And I think you're going to start to see, you're already seeing, as I go around talking to people, I get a lot of people coming up saying, hey, we're noticing the street's getting repaved and we really appreciate it.
That's good. Yeah. Well, it's good that others notice. I'm sure you notice every pothole all across San Diego being on that initiative. Speaking of initiative, I got to ask you, it's not often we get to sit down with a politician. The Chargers, we want to keep the football team. What's the likelihood?
I think it's going to be tough to get a 2/3 vote for their measure in November. I think a lot of it's going to be dependent upon how the team plays, right? You look at the Padres back in '98, got their measure passed the year they went to the World Series. It was not an accident. This year, but keep in mind, they didn't.
So you're saying we have some challenges here?
Well, I think there will be. The Padres did not get 2/3, by the way, it was not a tax increase, so it didn't need 2/3. But even not being a tax increase, it still only got 60%. So I think it's that 2/3 threshold for the Chargers is going to be really tough. But I tell you what, if they go 6-3 in the 9 games before Election Day, maybe it happens. They go 3-6, probably not going to happen.
So if they don't get the 2/3, what does that mean? Where does that put us?
I think it depends on the level of support they do get, right? Let's say they get above 50%, but below 2/3. I think that's enough motivation for them to continue pursuing a solution here in San Diego. If they get 30% or 40%, they're probably going to be fairly dejected by that. So I think we'll see it. Again, a lot of that's going to be dependent upon how the team plays.
So what's your stance on it? What do you hope happens if let's say it doesn't pass? How would you try and motivate the city, the people to make it happen? What would be, I guess, the best case scenario for you?
I think we really need, there are some unanswered questions that their initiative just did not address. And one of them is the surrounding infrastructure for where they want to build the stadium in the East Village downtown. If you look at when the Giants come to town into Petco Park and we have a sellout, that part of the East Village gets pretty jammed up, right? The freeways, the trolleys, just all the parking gets pretty jammed up. So then you add, let's say, an extra 20,000 people on top of that for a Chargers game. It's only going to get worse.
Right.
And unfortunately, the Chargers measure as it's going to the ballot does not really address that. I think that's something that, irrespective of what actually happens on November 8th with the vote, that's going to need to be addressed for whatever solution comes next.
Okay. Looking forward, any new initiatives for you? You just got the one passed. Well done there. But moving forward, what do you have your hands on?
Well, we're going to continue looking at the city's infrastructure. I think the next big thing is really going to be housing. If you look at the up and down the state, we've got a housing crisis, right? California.
Is it really a crisis?
I would say it is.
Okay.
I would say it is. And maybe not in certain parts of inland California, but certainly along the coast, it's a crisis. And it's in large part because it's really, really hard to build stuff, right? It is really hard to get the permits and pay all the fees and get the approvals, deal with the environmental regulations, all the things you have to go through. It's just really tough. And so what we're seeing is the projects that are coming to the City Council for approval tend to be at the very high end of the market, multi-million-dollar condo, high-rises downtown, and then at the government subsidized affordable end of the market, which is kind of the low end of the spectrum, very, very little in between, very little. And when you talk to developers and builders, what they'll tell you is that it is really tough to get those kind of middle income housing developments to pencil out. It's very, very difficult. So to me, that is where we've got to focus a lot of our energy in the coming months and years.
Well, the good news is whether you're renting or owning, you're in America's finest city,
right.
Greatest city on the planet. Mark, thanks for having us down here.
Thanks,
Let's enjoy our coffees and take it back to Lifestyles.
Luxury and La Jolla are synonymous. Multi-million-dollar homes, world-class shopping and dining, and 7 miles of coastline make La Jolla a destination for tourists and travelers worldwide. But it's also home to thousands that are lucky enough to call this jewel by the sea their home. I'm Jen Morris for Lifestyle San Diego. We're going to be meeting Amber Anderson, luxury real estate specialist out of this La Jolla marketplace, to find out even more about what La Jolla has to offer and to get in on a little secret that she has to share. We're here today with luxury real estate specialist Amber Anderson out of this La Jolla marketplace, and we are just steps away from her office at Pacific Sotheby's International Realty at this jewelry boutique, CJ Charles. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Sotheby's is truly synonymous with luxury, so I thought it was only appropriate that we come and check out this amazing location, and more importantly, to share some great news for La Jolla. CJ Charles just partnered with Patek Philippe, which is truly an amazing luxury watch brand. They've got watches that range from $25,000 all the way up to $2.5 million. And it's very exciting for La Jolla because they're the only retailer in all of San Diego County. And it just continues to put La Jolla on the map for being luxury, exclusive, and just a place to come and check out.
And I have to mention, they were so kind here to lend me this unbelievable bracelet and this $300,000 diamond necklace. So
doesn't it just feel good?
It feels so good. Let's just stand here all day. Amber, I know that we've talked about luxury in La Jolla, but there's also a great social scene in La Jolla. And I know that there's some really exciting things happening where people can learn a little bit more about the community and have more accessibility within the community.
Absolutely. There's a new LaJollaSocial.com. You can actually, LJSocial.com is a new place that you can go to find out about upcoming events or new restaurants, just what's trending in La Jolla and exclusively to our neighborhood. And more importantly, they have a new service, which is La Jolla Golf Carts, which is going to be seen a lot more in La Jolla. They're going to be offering free shuttles. The first event that they're sponsoring is the upcoming Art and Wine Festival next weekend. But you'll be able to see the shuttles at the local farmers markets, and we're actually going to have a chance to take a tour in one of them here shortly.
Fantastic. You ordered us a couple cards?
I sure did.
And where are we going?
We are going to head over to, you've asked me a couple of times about what the secret in La Jolla is, and so I think we really have the secret that we can show off today, which is the cave. So I think we're going to have a really fun time heading over.
Great. Amber, I know we were just at the exclusive boutique jeweler CJ Charles and that you ordered us a couple of golf carts to come over to the caves, and we kicked the driver out, right?
It was going to be too much fun. We figured we should drive ourselves.
Yeah,
I agree.
You did a great job. Thank you.
you.
So tell us about these caves and the history about them, because I saw a sign 1904 on the outside.
Yeah, the Cave store is actually the longest running store in the history of La Jolla, and it's just it truly is a little secret. Most people know about the cave because they're accessing it from the kayaks, but many people don't realize there's the oldest, I think the only tunnel to a cave in all of California, 144 steps down, and it's really in not just the cave, but this is a great location to be on the bluffs and see truly a panoramic view from the cove all the way to Black's Beach. So great little location if you're in La Jolla that you have to check out.
Amber, I know that you're a leading expert when it comes to marketing, and that is one of the reasons why you are so successful in the real estate business. Tell us how video has been such a power player for you in your marketing plan.
Well, I think more than anything, the consumer has changed the way that they want to receive information. And video, even mobile video now, has increased over 100% per year. Listings, real estate listings that have a video attached to their homepage or their listing page get 400% more showings. And video is really the only way that you can showcase the essence of a home, the true lifestyle, the emotion. And more importantly, for Sotheby's International Realty, we have clients from all over the world. So it's a great way for us photos just don't tell the story, and videos can be shown in multiple languages all over the world, and it's just the way that the times are changing.
How do you use technology to your advantage when it comes to video, and how do you connect the dots for the viewer sitting at home? They're looking at a one-dimensional computer screen. How do you get a visceral reaction from them when they see a property of yours?
Absolutely. Well, no longer are the days of taking some photos and looping it to some jazz music. That is not a video. You really have to be all-inclusive. So a full script, we've got voiceover, we have aerial videography included into it, as much emotion as we can create to engage the buyer, because emotion sells homes.
And content.
And content, absolutely.
I know that you recently sold a $4.9 million home here in La Jolla, and that was largely in part due to your marketing of that property.
It was everything. It's all about exposure. And in La Jolla, we have so many homes. I think we have over 50 homes right now on the market over the $5 million marker. So it's all about exposure and getting to those buyers. And we're in a digital world, and so you have to get creative to access those buyers.
I know that you have a funny story about the buyer that came in and saw your video.
Well, I have been the forefront when it comes to videos, and I understand the importance. And this particular home, the video sold the house. And when I walked in to do the second showing, the buyer said, "Oh my gosh, you should be a movie star. My wife has watched your video video over 20 times. And the video, they were a couple from Texas, and the video really sold the house. And when you have something like that, it really just helps set your home out from those 50 that are on the market.
All right, great. Well, let's take a look at that video that sold that home.
Absolutely, thank you.
In La Jolla, luxury estates are ample, yet few homes strike the delicate balance of superior craftsmanship, location, and tremendous value. This is one of those homes that exudes true elegance and luxury. An exquisitely designed estate at 7185 Fairway Road delivers a special experience for the senses. Sight. This home takes in panoramic views of the Pacific Ocean from the living room and master bedroom of this 6,500 square foot open and fluid layout, complete with gorgeous columns, crown molding, and the finest of finishes. Sound. Listen for a break in the whisper-quiet street and feel the fresh Pacific breeze that glides gently up to this superb, elevated location. Smell. The magnificent rose garden and fresh-cut grass from the La Jolla Golf Course located mere steps away. Comprised of 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 2 half baths, his and her offices, a bonus room or study, a custom wine closet, a beautifully landscaped, spacious courtyard with spa and outdoor fireplace, a 3-car garage, an elevator, this home is perfect for entertaining. The Country Club neighborhood is indeed very special. Nestled in the hills and canyons of Mount Soledad, this area is just minutes to the village and offers such dramatic ocean views along with a tremendous level of privacy. It's easy to see why it's so popular. La Jolla features several pristine beaches along its coast, each offering a surplus of outdoor activities including diving, kayaking, or just soaking up the abundant sunshine. The outdoor lifestyle is a central feature that beckons visitors from around the globe, which includes golfing at the world-renowned Torrey Pines or the exclusive La Jolla Country Club. What makes this home special is that it sits on over a ½ acre and truly has a light and bright floor plan. Come experience one of La Jolla's premier luxury estates.
Well, Amber, such a fabulous video. Thank you so much for sharing it. I can see why the home sold quickly for a record price in La Jolla here. I don't want to let you go, though, without tying it back a little bit to the caves. We're 100 feet from the entrance to the store where you can access those stairs. And I know that you have a funny story from the woman who works there.
Right, and I think if you did any research online, you'd be able to see the photos because it is really funny. She came into the store one morning, and because there's access, as you go to the bottom of the cave to the water, when she came in, she had a little friend waiting for her. She heard some noise, and sure enough, a seal or a sea lion had come up all the way up those stairs into the store and was checking things out, which that's part of being a part of nature.
Only in La Jolla, right?
Only in La Jolla, exactly.
Amber, thank you so much for sharing one secret of La Jolla, but so much more for us today. Thank you.
You're very welcome.